Okay guys, another training video. So something that's really important for us to remember when we're working with youth is that they're all at different stages in their life and different behaviors are presented due to the ages and stages that they're in their life. So something that we're going to talk about now is the ages and stages in which those kids might be in. And so now what I want you to do is, with this video, should have came a little sheet, and it looks like this. It says act your age on it, and it's got some different descriptions of the ages and stages that kids are a part of. And so these are, like, for this one, it's got listed different behaviors, and it'll tell you some possible things that a child would exhibit at a certain age. So it might be ages 8 to 9 when we're really dealing with campers, 10 to 11, 12 to 14, and 15 to 18, which can also fall into the categories of what you guys do and what you guys think and how you act, because you are around that age and you're in that stage of your life. So right now, what I want you to do is I want you to pause the video, take a moment and look over that. Just read through those and see, of the 4 ages listed at the top, early childhood, middle childhood, early adolescence, and middle adolescence, what you think would be the age associated with those characteristics. So just take a moment and pause and see what you can do. Okay, so you've taken a moment and you've paused the video and you've looked over it and you've made some decisions about it. Well, that's great, but let's talk about it and see what you think. So we'll look at the first box up here, right here, the one that starts with have longer attention spans, but still need breaks. So they have longer attention spans and they accept themselves and are able to admit their mistakes. They like to go out and do trips. They're great joiners and they really like organized activities, have very strong opinions, begin quarreling with their parents on a regular basis, more polite to strangers than parents, and value friendships highly. Sometimes have difficulty controlling their feelings and start taking responsibility for actions. They like to meet and travel in groups to public places. So this first box has some things that are kind of big and like they might really help you indicate what would be most likely to be this age. So something I think that kind of gives it away to you is it says that they're really good joiners and they like the organized activities. That's a really big indicator for me. You see great joiners, like organized activities. Okay, but also, what about that begin quarreling with parents? Think about when you maybe started to question some things as a child. We all know we did. You don't necessarily want to admit that you may have questioned what your parents said or argued with them a little bit, but we all have been through that. And so you begin quarreling with your parents on a regular basis. And maybe something else is that you sometimes start taking responsibility for your actions. And that's something that you got to be not super mature to do, but a little bit older and a little more established than some of the earlier ages on. So, with that being said, what are our thoughts on what that would be? Well, the characteristics listed here are for ages 10 to 11. So, in this middle childhood stage, you are really beginning to kind of establish yourself a little bit more and kind of form your own beliefs at ages 10 and 11. You're starting to take responsibility for your actions because you know that, you've caused this thing, or you can start to understand, oh, well, I am the one that left the door open, so I guess that's why the dog got out. That kind of thing. So that's something that can kind of indicate it to you. And so those are the ages 10 to 11 characteristics. Now, let's move on over to the box right beside it that starts with high social needs and desires. So we've got high social needs and desires, widespread feelings of inferiority and inadequacy, a strong desire for status with peers, need freedom to make own decisions, want and need strong voice to plan programs, have clear interest, and personal philosophies emerge, capable of problem solving and thinking, and want life planning guidance, interested in adventure, developing concern for well-being of others. So this one kind of gives some stuff away, I think, because a big one that you see is that you want life planning guidance. And so at what age are you going to want life planning guidance? And when are your clear interests and personal philosophies going to emerge? And I think you'd say that that's when you're a lot more established in your life. And so something that I think you could do with that is that you could say, what do you think it is? So I think that on this one, you'd say it's middle adolescence, you know? Those are things that are really, like, clear. And around middle adolescence is when you're in high school and you're starting to figure out what are your plans for your future. And it's okay to not know those things, but that's when you're trying to figure it out. So you do begin to have those clear interests of, okay, like, I'm really interested in science. I think I want to be a doctor. Or you want to be guided on where you should go to college. Should you be interested in studying political science or being a teacher, that kind of thing. And you are really beginning to become who you are and establish those philosophies of who you are. And so that's really important to remember. So now we only have 2 boxes left because that one was our ages 15 to 18. So with this one, just think about these two, and we're going to look at both of them and kind of highlight things in both boxes before we give it away because you don't want to give away the clear answer. So on the often egocentric box, these people are often egocentric, focused on their own, which means focused on their own desires. Struggle with the self-criticism, sometimes can be moody and go through enthusiastic or cooperative to be withdrawn, things like that. They desire to be more independent. They need to be part of something. And it's important for that to be a part of something to them. It begins when they begin to test values and question what they think is right. They're very emotional and they may have trouble controlling that, but they want to try new things. And they're very concerned about friends doing well in school. But this other box says they want to be helpful. Begin to enjoy reading activities they can do alone. Like physical activity, become less impulsive, and they worry about being liked. But they're easily motivated and they're eager to try new things, which can be pretty hard, you know. And they value friendships, need encouragement, and tend to be self-motivated. And they suffer with staying focused. So when you look at these 2 boxes, there are some things that I think can give you some clear indicators of the 2 options that we have left that kind of identify closer with one stage rather than the other. And so with this box that starts with want to be helpful, I think that it's really important to remember that this age is needing encouragement. A lot of people need encouragement, but at the stage that this box is at, they definitely need encouragement. And for the most part, they really, really are easily motivated. It doesn't take much to get this age motivated. You know, you're like, hey, let's do it. It'll be fun. Like, we're going to have a good time. And you can really encourage that. And they're easily motivated and ready to join you and do the activity. And also something I think is that they're becoming less impulsive. And so that's something that you guys know. In between the ages, some of you may be closer to the realm of 14. I mean, when did you start to become less impulsive? Or was it around 8 to 9 or 12 to 14? So this box is the ages 8 to 9. And we all know that if we've been teens, we've seen those campers who are really wanting to be helpful. Those young kids, they're like, yes, I'll sweep for you. Like, I want to help you. I want us to get a good score. They're very easily motivated. And that's really important to remember. And so that kind of gives you away. But these are some characteristics that'll do that. So on the other box, obviously, after I just told you that it was 8 to 9, the younger kids, the early childhood stage, then we've got the 12 to 14 box. And so this is kind of a period in your life where you're a little bit more egocentric and you struggle with self-criticism. But some things that really give it away here for me are desire to be more independent. Around ages 12 to 14, think about it. That's our age when in every county we're transitioning between that period of teen, CIT, camper realm. So when you're becoming a teen, you're becoming more independent. You're going to be trusted with that responsibility. And so your desire is to be a little bit more independent and be a little more responsible. And so also that's the time period when you want to be a part of something. And being here at camp and being a teen can be that thing that gives you that part of something, makes you a part of that group. But it's also like a really important time thing to remember is that this is like when you kind of begin to test your values. So that can be kind of an indicator. But I think the biggest ones that can help us remember around this stage is the desire to be more independent and the need to be a part of something important. And that's something that I think we can see here at camp, and it's really clear. So this is just like a couple little things that can kind of give you an idea of the different stages of development. And these things are important because, well, when we're at camp, we're working with people throughout all these stages. Yes, as a teen, you might not be working with someone who's 15 to 18 as frequently, but you guys are working together as a team. And sometimes it's important to remember that, you know, we need to know how we operate and how others operate when they're around this stage in their life so that we can best work together. But we also need to know how the people we're serving, like the campers, from ages 9 to 12 or 9 to 13, that we are understanding where they're at and where they're coming from when things are difficult for them. Like, it might really be hard for a 12-year-old to be like, hey, I really need you to sweep, because they are wanting to be more independent. They're learning to do things on their own and things like that. Whereas your 9-year-old in your cabin is going to be like, I would love to help. Like, I really want to help. So these are just a couple little things, and it kind of gives you an idea of the ages and stages that people are a part of. And like in previous videos, my email is abigail20@vt.edu. And I would love to help you guys in any way if you want to deeper understand these topics or if you have questions. So please feel free to reach out and email me if you do. Thanks.